Surrounding it, arms, weapons drawn. They say that all the individuals inside surrendered. That included 3 women who were sitting inside the vehicle, the Chevy Cruze, with the suspect, Wint, and then 2 other men who were in the box truck. Law enforcement officials with whom I've spoken within the last hour tell me that inside that box truck, they found a large stash of cash. It was in the door, at least some of it was in the door of that vehicle. They say it was at least $10,000 of cash. The real question, though, coming back to what you asked, is were any of these other individuals an individual who may have been involved in this? And at this time, we know very little about their identities or whether or not any of them were his accomplice, so to speak, in these awful murders.
Shamari Stone, you broke the story last night. How did the D.C. police break the story?
Well, essentially, D.C. police were working with a task force of law enforcement officers consisting of the U.S. Marshals Service, and they zeroed in on a motel in College Park, Maryland, and they found, as Peter Alexander talked about, that box truck, a car, and they followed that car and box truck into northeast D.C. to the 1000 block of Rhode Island Avenue. They arrested Wint with no problem. There was no problem with the incident. Also, investigators are telling us that, as Peter said, you had the 2 other men, you had 3 other women, and they're looking to see if they are somehow connected to this and how. We do know that Wint worked for the American Iron Works company, that is Savas Savopoulos' company. He is the CEO, and he worked there between 2003 and 2005. We also know that Wint's relative was fired from the company, and so right now homicide detectives are trying to determine a motive. They'll sit him down, talk to him, and say, okay, so you worked for this company. What is your connection to this family? What exactly happened? This was a brutal murder, unimaginable. Here you have Savas Savopoulos, his wife Amy, their 10-year-old son Philip, and the housekeeper. Then the house is set on fire, Andrea.
And Peter Alexander, you talked to Robert Fernandez from the Marshals Service. Tell me what you learned from him about Wint when he was arrested. And I think we've got a little bit of that tape. Let's play that first and then come back to you on the other side.
Sure.
Well, we were following him down Route 1. We were trying to find a good location where we could conduct our pin, which is basically like a red light. And we hit almost every single green light for about 2 or 3 miles until we were at a good location with a helicopter above. We were able to get a car in between the sedan and the box truck and then conducted our pin. We pinned the sedan with 4 vehicles. We surrounded the box truck and everybody gave up immediately.
Really a dramatic scene described there by
Peter Alexander.
Yeah, Andrea, it was a dramatic scene that he described there. Among some other new details that we can share with you right now is the suspicion of the U.S. Marshals. Basically, they are the hunters in a situation like this, trying to find a criminal suspect. They believe that Wint left Washington, D.C. either Sunday or Monday, that he would have been staying with his girlfriend there for a series of days, that he left his girlfriend's apartment in New York City only after seeing his face on television on Wednesday night before they ultimately tracked him down here in the D.C. area.
Peter Alexander and Shamari Stone, extraordinary, right out of the movies, but great work. Thank you both so very much. Meanwhile, overseas, ISIS continues its brutal advance, taking control of Ramadi in Iraq and now Palmyra in Syria, all within days. New video today.